I struggled with addiction for over a decade. Started out with pills and even went into shooting heroin. And I had many different county sentences. I had even done, I had been clean for a little bit, done some work on myself, relapse, get clean for a little bit. And the last case that I actually caught the case clean.
Wow.
Was on a motorcycle, long story short, took off from the cops first thing in the morning in Weston. And what happened in that scenario is something that we do a lot, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is minimizing situations that we get into. Me taking off from the cops, which I had done a million times in my life on many different things, motorcycles, cars, foot, bicycles. Never in my life did I think one day I'm going to take off and one of these cops is going to shoot me. So that's what transpired on the last one, even clean, So I took off, they shot me. I continued on a 2-county pursuit that, ended in a mangled mess, me running into a Metro-Dade cop car. Of course, they had to justify this unjustifiable shooting and charge me with attempted murder on a police officer. Set me with like $1 million bond, and that turned into 4.5 years on level 1 house arrest, followed by, and that was just while I was fighting the case. Level 1, couldn't work, couldn't do anything. Literally had to get a prescription from a doctor just to go to meetings, just to go to any meetings. But why that one was so beneficial and me catching that case clean was everything I endured after that. There was no drugs. There was nothing to sound out or drown out the emotions. So 4.5 years on level 1 house arrest, I was completely isolated. I mean, people stopped by, but for the most part, completely isolated. So then going to prison clean for a year after doing 4.5 years on level 1 house arrest, God saw fit for me to go through all of that. You know what I mean? So went to prison, and this last one was crazy, because of the attempted murder on a Leo. They had me in a crazy dorm. People are fighting, hitting each other with locks, stabbing every single day. I was in an HO4 dorm, straight HO4 dorm. So you either have violent offenses or you're in and out the box the whole time you're in prison, So it was a crazy dorm, and I was meant to go through all that and go through all that clean to really feel it. And that was the initial, time span that really started to boss me up in every fucking aspect, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That was the time, and going through all that even clean really hit home and opened my eyes. And that's where it started for me.
And it's for me, it wasn't that crazy, but I will say I can relate with you in that prison, it's something that's meant to destroy a man in society's eyes.
Right.
And it did the total opposite for me, bro.
Absolutely.
It made me understand that there's nothing on this planet that can destroy you. The only thing that can destroy you is you.
Absolutely. And that's so right, because I'm sure you saw in there and I saw in there, there's, just like out here, but in there, it's almost like you're forced to do one of two things. You can either get into all the shit that's going on in prison, or you can fucking work out, grind, mind your business, do what you got to do, to the best of your ability.
And improve as a person. Yep.
Right. You still got to deal with the shit that's in there. But, yeah, man, it's one or two things. It's either continue what you were doing that got you there, or start your change right now. There.
Yep.
And that was something I was actually working with people on in prison. Like, I was getting dudes off Tunchi, the spice.
Yeah.
I was helping dudes get off Suboxone, because I was keeping it real with these dudes and letting them know, listen, if you think you're going to stay on dope in prison to the day you EOS and get out and do anything different or anything better than what brought you here, you're out of your mind. You're completely
100%,
delusional.
100%. Prison is a microcosm of reality. Like, what I noticed is all of people's bad habits, they're like amplified in prison.
Yes.
Because it's like, fuck it. I couldn't get away with it, and that's it. I'm facing the worst of the consequences, so why should I stop? That's how some people think in there. they're just like, fuck it, I'm in prison already. That's it. This is worst case scenario. So what's the point of
Right.
being a good guy? What's the point of doing things the right way?
Right. Oh, and now, now no one's gonna hire me, this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Get into this totally like loser negative mindset that
100%.
literally just sets you up to come right back.
Whereas I saw the complete opposite. I said, no, this is a chance for me to work on my like where I'm lacking, because
Correct.
prison gives you the time to work on the things that you can't work out on it, like out here. You don't
Right.
have the time to work out 2 or 3 times a day, to read 100 pages of a book a day, to do yoga, like to do
To
all the
read a
things.
whole book a day.
Yeah, pretty much. And
For
it's
real.
like you can do so much work on yourself while you're in there that I sincerely think I'm 5 years ahead in life because of the 5 months I spent in there, because it's too much work I did on myself. I couldn't. There's no way I couldn't gotten that much done even in a year out here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's something where I think, as I'm sure you guys, you saw that most people in there are just wilding out, but there is a small group of guys in there doing, minding their business, reading, getting better, trying to maybe learn a new skill, learn a new craft.
Right. Definitely.
Getting ready so that way they're ahead when they get out and not behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And honestly, what I'm doing now, that started for me. That started for me in prison. Like I said, I was trying to help guys get clean. I was keeping it real with them. And it was during that bit also that I made up my mind and I knew that my calling was personal development coaching. One, I'm a certified trainer, have been since 2010. So I have that on point. I know about nutrition, I know about the training, but it became very apparent to me in that bid that my purpose was to get out and motivate and inspire people. And I didn't start it right when I got out. I'm out now a little over, December was 5 years. So I'm out now a little over 5 years, 9.5 years clean. Remember, I went into that bid clean. But when I first got out, I invested into treatment facilities, mental health and substance abuse, and kind of laid back, literally, and it's easy, and I'm sure you can relate.
Right.
But sometimes it is easy, not even if you're falling back into your old ways, but it's kind of easy when you first get out to get a little bit lackadaisical. You know what I mean? So I did, in a sense of, I just kind of let go of my purpose initially.
Right.
And then even with the financial freedom that being invested and being an owner in treatment facilities, even with the financial freedom that I have from that, a little less than a year ago, I just started feeling unfulfilled. And I got all this good stuff going on. We're traveling, we're doing all kinds of things, and I just caught myself feeling unfulfilled. And then it hit me, and I said, "This is it, man. I gotta stop sleeping on myself and serve my purpose." And since I started pushing real hard on that, things have changed drastically, and that started with myself. 8 months ago, I was 250 pounds. I was big up top. I had size up top, always chest, shoulders, but stomach was just eating however I wanted, always making excuses for that in itself. Oh, I got money. Oh, I'm good looking and tatted. Oh, I don't have a problem getting weight. There was always an excuse I had to not put hard discipline and consistency on myself to be where I truly desire to be physically. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to inspire and motivate people, and I'm literally making excuses to not put in that work myself.
Right.
So I that was the first step.